Now I wanted to talk about our May deer hunting tip, and obviously when it's off season like this, then we're coming up with tips for planning and strategy. And a lot of people, when you're planning your stand locations, don't take advantage of some of these lower elevation spots. They look at it like if it's down low in hill country, the wind's always swirling, and you're just not gonna be able to take advantage of this down here without spooking deer because the wind's always swirling. That's not always true. Now, if you're in a bowl and there's really no outlet except one, it's a steep draw going out, then a lot of times that wind can swirl. But as long as there's an outlet, what I mean by that, where this ground right here is pretty even going this way, with my back up, generally uphill. It's going this way. This comes down almost to point where we have in the woods, all the way down here at the bottom, we have level ground going this way. And then we have a draw extending all the way uphill here. That means if we get wind coming from over the top up there, which happens to be a northwest direction, a west direction, that wind comes over the top up here, it circles in the morning and goes back uphill over here. It's a very important concept. So I like look at this point and bump down here, and then as that wind's coming over, it's coming through here and going back uphill. I hope that makes sense to you. This is a great feature that you can take advantage of in lower areas like this. Now, that's for a morning hunt. We get this great wind that's whipping around, going back uphill in the morning. And what we're doing here is we're keeping this as all open timber through here. We're never gonna cut this. We don't wanna cut it. We want to remain open so that we can go up and down this access road and get into this stand location right here and not spook deer while we're getting in and out. And so that's a really critical point to this, that you're not spooking deer. So whether you're finding a location like this on public land, private land, I'm looking at an area like this. We actually have a point coming down here. We have a big draw back there, draw over there. So you have a lot of features inside here that hold deer, hold bedded bucks. It's very, very remote. We actually have a food source right over here, a couple 100 yards we take advantage of that's on the neighbor's property. As a side note, you never want to have food on your property border, because if a hunter is half a hunter and those deer are living on your land in your bedding area every day, you could take advantage of that movement, and that food places deer on your neighbors. That's a very bad thing, because then your neighbor gets to look at those deer almost the entire day. And as most people overhunt their food plots, then you might get to see those deer all day long during the daylight. You're the one that has control because of their food plots. I hope that makes sense. This happens to be a big bedding area like that. So if you're finding an area that wind swirls over the top, goes back up there, that's for those morning hunts. And so for an afternoon hunt, Jen shot her buck down here in the afternoon. I shot my buck in the morning. Yes, thermals are rising in the morning. They go back uphill. We already have a plan for that. They fall in the evening. The problem is if it's super high winds down here, you could have winds that are northwest. They're still going to keep tailing uphill until it gets closer to dark. And then the thermals will pull them down into that ravine where you don't expect to see or experience deer movement. That's a very good thing, because as these winds are swirling around, going uphill, towards evening they're settling down that way and not right over here at the water hole that we're looking at. Hey, thanks for watching the video, and we'll be right back, but this is very important. It's a very important announcement. We have our Camp Kicking Bear event. We have it on Father's Day. It's more of a habitat day. We're going to see a feature of habitat improvements, how they will all relate to a bedding area, a water hole, food plot, bedding point, morning stands, evening stands, and then we get to take a tour around the majority of the property too. Bottom line is $350 per person times 50 people. We highly encourage you to bring your kids. After all, it's Father's Day. Those 50 spots always sell out very fast. On that same day, it's from 10 o'clock to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We have speaking events. All my sponsors kick in for that. So we'll literally be giving away a Matthews boat, a ghillie blind. And so one person will win each of those. For about 13, 14 people will win really good prizes. I could list them all, but check it out. We also have our $100 times 100 hunt raffle to a lucky hunter that'll come hunt with us the end of September for 3 nights. So really check out all that information. Look at the link in the description. You can ask Jessi. She'll help you out with any scheduling of that, and look forward to seeing you guys there. It's a great event. Every dime that's earned goes directly to Camp Kicking Bear, and even a little extra on top of that. So look forward to seeing you there. That's how we use this with an evening wind, and then we use this with a morning wind. Now, if we're down here and it's light winds, If it's southerly, they're gonna come, it's clean sky right there, meaning there's no soil. So that wind's just gonna go right up in here, right into the bedding area. It's gonna swirl around here. When it starts to quiet down, it'll saturate this entire area. So I hope it makes sense that we're using wind that's basically off our left shoulder looking downhill, coming over the top, that'll swirl up at an angle. Angle in, angle out, uphill. And then in the evening, it'll angle, especially with those higher winds, it'll just keep blowing hard and eventually tail off that while we're watching this movement right here. So it's something that you can take advantage of down in these low terrain areas. A lot of people don't think about that, but whether you're planning it, and like we have a water hole set up, we have food plots, everything, where this is a very remote location, or we're finding it on public land. This is a terrain feature that you can plan your hunts around going into this fall. And it'd be a very important feature for you too, because a lot of people, again, look at it that, boy, it's down here low and I can't hunt it. So then, you know, we just stay up top. So I'm gonna add a different layer of this. You know, this is how we're looking at this. This is how we're putting it together. So you find this feature first on private land and you say, you know what, I can make this better. So that's where we're never blowing our scent up into this way. We cut bedding area for about 250 yards back. We have bedding area here, bedding area, and another bedding area. So they're really layered through there into that bottom. We choose to put that water hole on this outside edge. We're also coming into this location where the hillside goes up a little bit. So it's almost like we're coming behind a bank all the way down this hill. We're not projecting our motion for accessing this stand back into the woods over there. We have a trail that's actually a logging trail that extends through there. That's an important feature there where we don't want a food plot down there. We don't want a food source on that trail, but we want green to hold that soil down. We want it to actually absorb moisture in the soil. We don't want it to get rutted up. We want to be able to mow it, but it ends up making a great deer corridor that extends in that bedding area and brings those deer right to this location. Mock scrape is right behind the water hole over there. So again, we're walking through an unlogged area, someplace we never plan on timbering. It's good turkey roosting habitat for us. Some of the little turkey really big mature timber areas and turkey roosting that we have on the property, and we're just coming to the edge of habitat. Whether you're hunting on public or private land, walking all the way down, getting to a spot like this where you know your winds are, and that's a lot of times what we're looking at is, I want to hunt this location, whether it's topographical feature on a map on public land, or it's that same feature on private land that I can actually expand and work on. You're finding that feature first, knowing I can get in and out here, let's get down there and see what kind of sign there is. And a lot of times what you find in an area like this, when you're planning your approach, you're planning, I can hunt this habitat feature right here, I can hunt this corner, I can make sure my wind's not there, then you'll recognize these movements down here that are taking place naturally, and you're just expanding and adding to that with the features that you had on private land. Or again, you're finding this feature on public land and hunting it. So a lot of ways you can improve a spot like this, but bottom line, whether it's private or public land, you're looking for a feature like this. Again, almost look at this as a shelf going this way and then going up the draw right here. So it's almost like a corner of that terrain. We're hunting right down here on that corner. We expect the wind to come up high like this and leave that way. And you know, we've had deer right down here that we haven't even spooked. So a lot of times in the morning, the thermals are racing uphill so fast, it even goes over their heads for deer that are, quote, downwind of us. So a way to fool a deer's nose, but definitely a way to hunt and plan for hunting, whether you're scouting in the off season or you find this in public land, you find this type of feature going into this fall right before the season. So either way, a great way to hunt, and we're staying down here low, getting away from the tops, and that paid off big time for us last year ×2, and we'll see what happens this fall. Now, I don't know if you've checked out our main website lately, whitetailhabitatsolutions.com, but we've really had a lot going on, including hats, books, our web class, and certainly our new seed company, WHS Wildlife Blends. When you click on seed on our site, it'll take you right to our brand new site for the seed company. We have all 12 blends available. So check it all out though. I encourage you, I appreciate you checking it out. Whether you buy anything or not, really appreciate you visiting the site and seeing what's going on, and continue to watch because we have big things coming later this year.